The lesson.
2016, you've warmed up for Cube, you've warmed up for Cypress Hill, you've done the Wu national tour, you got the joint with Ghostface. It's all happening. The momentum is really cranking. And then off the back of this, there's an artist, Baro, who I think he called you out, or there was some sort of back and forth between you guys, and it had something to do with maybe him not feeling that you were the right person for that national support or something like that. Do you recall this, and can you unpackage that a bit and tell us what that was all about?
Yeah, for sure, man. What happened was one of my friends sent me a screenshot of, because they were friends with him at the time. And I assume that maybe they still are. I have no idea. But and he sent me a screenshot saying like, "Oh, have you seen this?" And then it was just like a screenshot saying like something like, "Why is Ivan Pooh's like supporting Wu-Tang?" Shaking my head, something like that. I don't know. No, don't I wouldn't quote me on that. But it was something along the lines of that. And and then it was just like a whole bunch of like other dudes that were underneath it that were sort of in the scene that had commented on it or whatever, and it was just sort of like. It sort of threw me because like I was like, I've never met like any of these dudes. Like I'd met Baro before. Like I'd supported Baro at one of his shows, and and like there was just a bunch of like dudes that are just like talking shit about me, and I couldn't really like put it together because I was more like sort of what have I done to deserve this type thing, and and I mean like I've always struggled with like mental health and shit. So like when that sort of happened, I was like, man, like that sort of fucking sucks. That like, cause I mean, like I love to give everybody like the time of day and like, listen to them and like hear them out and shit. And like, just to see like a whole bunch of dudes that like, sort of, sometimes you might have just said hello or what's up, or like you might have had a conversation with them or anything, just talking shit about you. And like, because like they don't think that you can see it because like you're not friends with that dude. Yeah, it's sort of just like, it's disappointing. And I mean, like, I don't hold anything against him, man. Like, I mean, I've done dumb shit when I was younger too, and I've been called out for it. And like, I mean, like, I'm like right now, like, I'm 30 years old. Like, I know that all the dumb shit I've done, and like, I grew up in the eastern suburbs of Melbourne, and like, shit's different out there compared to like, and like less progressive than it is when you live in the city, and like all of that sort of stuff. So like, I've gone through like just changes and like things that'll just make me the person that I am now, and like everybody does, but just to see that at that point was just like, man, like you're doing something that's like so cool, and then it gets dampened by like just all these people that like, like literally like big dudes, and you're like, man, like who can I support now, like in Australia? Like who can I hang with or be friends with, or like, who isn't talking shit about me, because everyone's connected to everybody, and it's like, are they all saying the same thing about me? Like, what's the deal? So, it sort of fucked me up a little bit for like a while, but, it was weird. It was definitely weird.
So this has happened on the announcement, and while this is all happening, you've still got to prepare to actually do the shows.
Yeah. Like, the preparation wasn't so hard. Like, I know that my stage show is high energy, and, I know what I'm doing is great and stuff. And like, at that time, I was very much like, not in tuned with like how I feel, so I was just like, oh fuck it, fuck them, like they fucking like whatever, like I don't give a shit about like that sort of stuff, when I did, but I just didn't know that I did. And so like it's sort of just, it would just play on my mind sometimes and shit, and like even seeing people out and like stuff like that in Melbourne or like in Sydney and shit like that, and there was like this like, there'd be like weird tensions or like beef, and you're just like, you don't know like what it's over, and you don't know like, you don't know why someone's thinking the way that they're thinking and stuff. And I mean, like, with, like, the Baro stuff, like, he said all that shit with me, and I posted it on my I have a news page because I was pissed. Because I was just like, man, like, I don't appreciate this. And you didn't think that, like, I would see it. And now I've been given it, so I might as well just give it to everybody so they can see it. To just, like, And, like, I don't have a problem with any of these dudes. Like, people probably think that I do. But, like, I've never fucking met these guys. Like, I met Baro once. Like, I met, I don't even know who else. But, like, there's, like, dudes that I'm meeting now as well. And, like, I become friends with them, and like some of them are just like, oh man, I thought you were like a piece of shit, and like it's just like, why? Like, why do you think I'm a piece of shit? Like, I don't get it. Like, you've never met me, you've heard things about me, sure, but I don't, like, am I a piece of shit? Sometimes I am, but sometimes I'm just living right now in like the moment, and like I'm just grateful for it. So I mean, if people can judge you all you want, but it just matters if you like love yourself, and within yourself, if you're happy with you and like you can't understand it, it's fine to like, you know, for them to have their say and for them to do that thing, and like if they want to be like that, that's cool. But yeah, I'm just really, when back then it was very hard to fathom. Now I understand it a lot more.
Now, the bit that I didn't know was that you posted the screen grab on your socials that was sent to you. When you've done that, I'm going to assume that the comment section and that's just kicked off, or...
It was just like, there was a lot of people that were like talking, like, you know, sort of just having my back, and I felt like because I didn't have, like, there was obviously my friends that had my back, but the amount of people that had just like commented on that were like in the scene or anything, like there was people that like as soon as I posted that, they were deleting their comments, like from that original post and shit, because the other person that was telling me about it was just like, yeah, that's happening. And I mean, like, it's just like it's a really weird thing, and I find, especially in Australia as well, like with the hip hop scene, like it doesn't happen so much anymore, but what used to happen was like no one really helps each other in like in the scene. Like they do, but like they don't. Like it's like, I mean, you could be doing such cool shit, but like you choose to just like a lot of people try and be like self-absorbed. Like they're just like very like, you know, this is my time and this is like what I want to, like this is where I am and I've deserved to be here and stuff. And like that's how I feel about a lot of this shit. And like I've always tried to reach out to people and like ask them like, oh man, it'd be sick if you want to collab, and like if you're not down for it and like you're not really into my shit, sure, like I completely understand that. But like just something like, oh man, like beating around the bush and saying like the nice thing about like, oh man, I'm a bit busy right now and like all this shit. I'm just like, if you don't want to do it, just be honest with me. Like you're not gonna fucking hurt my feelings. Like it's not like the honesty is there, and like I know that maybe you don't think that I'm a shit person, but it's just like, you know, if you're not vibing it, you're not vibing it, and that's cool. Like it's around about there. But like, yeah, there's different sort of like, there's very fickle like sort of relationships. Like you could be like, when I was younger, I'd ask someone to be on my joint, they'd be like, oh nah, and then like now you're here and they're like, oh man, we should do this stuff together and like blah blah blah, and you're like, all right, cool. And like and it's like a thing of like, do I just let that affect me and be like, you never used to want to, but now you do, and like, do I need to think about that, or do I just go and do it? Like, do I just do it and just be like, you know what, fuck it? And so now that's where I'm at. Like, I don't give a shit. Like, I'm more in the focus of is all I want to do is make music, and if like you're someone that wants to pull bullshit, I don't have time for it, and like I don't have time to hear you out about why you don't like me and all that stuff, because especially if I've never met them. If I've met them, it's a completely different story, because maybe I've done something wrong and I'm not aware. But if I've never met them and someone's talking shit about me and they think that they know who I am, I literally have no time for it. And yeah, that's just where it sort of came from with posting that stuff and growing from it as well. Like I would never do that now. Like if I found that, I would probably laugh at it. Just be like, this is ridiculous. But like back then I was more just like sort of, I was a lot more angry at the world, I guess. And so that's what would be coming out from there.
And then so at the end of it all, did you and Baro ever have a conversation, or it kind of just got left?
No, not at all. I haven't seen or spoken to him at all. I mean, I only really met him before that once or twice, and he seemed like a really chill dude. Like there was I didn't have anything, like he would, like I think sometimes he'd send me like DMs and stuff like that, and it was just like sort of on the similar like line of that, or like, you know, there'd be other people that might know him or something, and like, you know, I'd just go through and it would be like followed by blah 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 blah, and or like just go through the followers just to see like who it is, and like they'd send me some shit, and it's like, it is what it is. Like I don't give a fuck about it anymore. Like it's fucking 6 years, and like I mean, like if I saw him out, I'd probably say what's up, because I don't really hold anything against anyone, and I think just having that time to like learn and grow, and even having the time that I did have off music to just sort of get my mind in check and whatever really helped me in that sort of term. But yeah, I really just I have time for everybody that wants to have time for me, but anyone that doesn't, I'm just like, whatever, you do what you want to do. Like, that's sweet, but I'm just going to keep doing what I need to do, and I feel like it's benefiting me more.
When we were talking about the, being on the tour with Wu-Tang, we're talking about what a great, opportunity and experience that was for you. But then you also mentioned that some difficulties or unfortunate things happened as well. Is the Baro thing one of those things that you were referring to, or were there other difficulties that came off the back of that tour?
Yeah, like one of them was like that, like just noticing that people felt a type of way about you without like completely knowing you or anything. Like you sort of feel shit. I mean, I feel like as well that because I had like as much as doing a song with Ghostface is like so great, it was sort of as well like, oh, this guy has made it now. We don't really have to like support him anymore because he must already be there, and like that is something that definitely affected me because like it affected like tickets, and it affected like doing shows and like like what you're basically doing. And so like I mean, doing a song with like a legend is amazing, but also like I never thought about any of those things that would to come. So yeah, it was very, very strange, very weird.
The lesson. Oh yeah.